in the shadows of a near-future Paris. Concrete is not just a building material, it's a weapon. District 13, a name that once meant nothing more than a location, now represents everything society fears, ignores, and pretends doesn't exist. It was supposed to be temporary, a government project to isolate crime, a political maneuver to buy time. But time passed, and the wall stayed. Behind it, the district rotted. Resources were stripped, protection vanished, and an entire population was locked in and labeled dangerous. But you can only neglect a people for so long before they push back. 2 years ago, a spark ignited inside District 13, a rebellion that shook the foundations of the government's control. It was suppressed, silenced, covered up, but not forgotten. Now, 2 years later, the silence is about to be broken again, and this time, it won't be so easy to contain. District 13. Ultimatum opens not with action, but with a plan so cold, so calculated. It doesn't just seek to control District 13. It aims to erase it. Inside the corridors of power, a secret faction within the government has devised a strategy. They will fabricate a gang war, trigger chaos, capture it on video, and use it to justify a full military strike. They call it urban renewal, but make no mistake, it's a massacre in the making, and no one will speak out, because no one cares. The public sees District 13 as a lost cause. The media feeds them curated fear, and the government quietly prepares to drop the hammer. But they didn't count on two men, two very different men. Leto, a product of District 13. He's not a gang leader. He's not a politician. He's a survivor. He knows every rooftop, every alley, every voice in the district. He's watched friends die. He's watched hope disappear. And still, he fights. He doesn't fight for power. He fights for dignity, for the idea that even a place the world has thrown away deserves a future. Then there's Damian Tomaso, clean-up, disciplined, brilliant, an undercover cop with a flawless record, a man trusted by the system until he discovers how broken that system really is. Damian stumbles upon fragments of the demolition plan, hidden files, altered footage, unusual transfers of power, and the moment he starts asking questions, he becomes a target. He's arrested, framed, erased, but Damian isn't easy to erase. He escapes, and there's only one place he can run, into the heart of the district he once helped isolate, and into the hands of the only man who might believe him. Together, Leto and Damian form a reluctant alliance. They've been on opposite sides of the law, chased each other, fought each other, distrusted each other. But the moment they compare what they know, they realize something horrifying. District 13 isn't being neglected anymore. It's being set up. The government wants it gone. And they're not going to wait for a reason. They're going to make one. The mission becomes clear. Unite the district. Expose the truth. Stop the bombs. But standing in their way is a city designed to divide, and a timeline they can't afford to miss. District 13 isn't a community. It's a battlefield, split into factions, each one hardened by survival, divided by blood, and armed to the teeth. Gangs rule blocks like kingdoms. Every crew has its own language, rules, and history of grudges. The government designed it this way. Let them fight each other. Let them forget who built the cage. And for years it worked. Now, Leto and Damian must undo it. Their only shot at stopping the bombing is to unify the ununifiable. They start with the African Syndicate, a group that controls the high-rise towers, run like a military unit. Leto appeals not to sympathy, but to strategy. He shows them the files, evidence that the government's plan includes leveling their towers, killing everyone inside. At first, they reject the idea, call it propaganda, but Damien, with his badge now burned, steps forward, and they listen. One by one, the leaders are approached. The Chinese crew, deadly, efficient, notoriously neutral. They agree to join, not out of loyalty, but because they know neutrality means and the names, real names, of real people. The reaction is immediate. The demolition order is revoked. The president's office issues a denial. But it's too late. The people have seen, and for the first time in the history of District 13, the rest of the country is listening. Protests erupt in Paris. Journalists demand investigations. The public demands accountability. Leto and Damien regroup. Bruised, bloodied, exhausted, but alive. They look out over the district, still damaged, still poor, still surrounded by walls, but no longer invisible. And that is the beginning of something far more powerful than any plan. Awareness. The bombs are called off. The cover-up crumbles. And suddenly, District 13 is no longer a name whispered in fear. It's shouted in protest, printed in headlines, echoed in every political debate. But District 13, Ultimatum doesn't end with a perfect win. Because this story was never about defeating a villain. It's about exposing a system. And systems take more than a victory to dismantle. The final act shifts the tone. From explosions to negotiations, a quiet room, a round table. No cameras, no guns, 5 gang leaders, 1 government representative. They're not here to sign peace. They're here to decide. What now? No one trusts anyone, but no one wants another war. The gangs demand infrastructure, water, electricity, schools, not favors rights. The government demands order. No more turf wars. No more guns. The tension is unbearable. One wrong word, and the district could burn again. But something shifts. Not because they agree, but because they all finally understand. No one's leaving. No one's backing down. And no one wins if the district falls again. It's not a deal. It's a pause. An agreement to keep talking. To try something radical. Dialogue. The gang leaders walk out. Not victorious, but recognized. And that alone is revolutionary. For the first time in decades, District 13 isn't being spoken about from a podium. It's being spoken to. And that matters. It sets the stage for real change. Not flashy, not immediate, but real. The final scene doesn't show walls falling. It shows people thinking. And that, the film argues, is how every revolution really begins. District 13. Ultimatum isn't just an action movie. It's a challenge to perception, to media, to authority. It questions everything we're told about crime, order, and who really benefits from the chaos. It says, maybe the problem isn't that these communities are dangerous. Maybe the problem is that they've been isolated, ignored, and blamed for decades. It exposes how fear is used as currency, how division is profitable, how the label of threat becomes justification for violence. But it also offers something rare, hope. Hope that even the most divided place can find a voice. Hope that exposure, not silence, leads to healing. Hope that people, when united, can reclaim power from any system built to control them. The film doesn't pretend the fight is over. Walls still stand. Corruption still lurks. Justice is still uneven. But it shows that something has changed. Leto walks the district with his head high. Not because it's safer, but because it's seen. Damien, once a loyal officer, now understands where real loyalty lies. Not with institutions, but with truth. They don't become heroes. They become proof. That action matters. That courage spreads. That silence can be broken. And that no matter how many times they try to erase a place, as long as people like Leto and Damien exist, District 13 will never be forgotten again. This film dares to mix adrenaline with meaning. Its fists carry purpose. Its leaps defy gravity, yes, but also defy expectation. It's not just a sequel, it's a statement. And long after the last punch is thrown, its questions remain. Who built the wall? Who profits from the fear? And most importantly, who's willing to climb over it? District 13. Ultimatum gives us the answer. Not with dialogue, but with action. And sometimes, that's louder than any speech.